Coming up on City Spotlight, just 5 episodes left in Season 10. And Season 10 with another episode on Mattoon. First, we talk with Mattoon Mayor Rick Hall and Mattoon City Administrator Kyle Gill with the latest on public works in Mattoon and an update on the continued development of the Emerald Acres Sports Connection on the east side of Mattoon. Then, we talk for the first time at the Mattoon Public Library with Library Director Carl Walworth, who gives us an overview of the Mattoon Public Library. We're nearing the end of Season 10 of City Spotlight, and we're talking once again about Mattoon, here on City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. And hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. As you can see, we are on location and indoors. Based on the seal behind us, you can definitely tell where we are taping at. We are doing an episode here on Mattoon, and we're back at a familiar spot, Mattoon City Hall, as we tape here on June 6th, 2024. To help us out, we welcome back 2 familiar guests to the program, the Mayor of Mattoon, Rick Hall. Rick.
Yes.
Great to see you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you came over to see us.
Excellent, thank you. And familiar face as well, Kyle Gill, Mattoon City Administrator. Kyle, always a pleasure.
A pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Great to have these gentlemen on. Last time we taped with these 2 guys right here in this spot, I believe it was end of 2022, so a year and a half has transpired, and we're going to quickly go through many things going on because Mattoon is evolving as we speak. And let's start with the beautifying of Mattoon, because there's some great work being done cleaning up some old neighborhoods.
Yes, so we have our Community Development Coordinator, or Director, is Alex Benishek, and we've jumped in and taken upon task to get in a lot of the nuisance properties cleaned up. We've tearing down several houses this year. I think our goal is to have around 10 to 15 houses torn down if the budget allows. And we're making good progress. We've taken down a couple houses in the 300 block of Moultrie. Okay. We've got, I think, one down in the 900 block of Prairie and another one between that and 12th Street in Prairie. So we've got a couple started already. We've taken down 4, I believe, and like I said, we plan on having about 10 to 15 taken down this summer.
Thank you for giving a specific location, not just for our viewers, but also for me while they've been watching. I've been showing clips of those specific locations. Yeah. Rick, an important thing for Mattoon to beautify the community and fix those areas.
Not only that, this is part of really a bigger project for our housing development. So as we tear down houses, we're going to have new lots with already streets and utilities in them, and we can build new houses in those neighborhoods and improve those neighborhoods. So that's awfully important.
All right, fantastic. Let's shift over to Public Works, and since the last time we taped with you 2 gentlemen, you have a new Public Works Director. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so Dave Clark, he came from his own engineering service, but before that he was with IDOT, so great background he has, and it's good to have him on our team. We're making a lot of projects with IDOT in the next couple of years.
Yes.
And so with his IDOT experience, it's definitely been a great benefit. We've got several projects going on with Public Works, from downtown streetscaping, new roads being developed out the sports complex, and a sidewalk project out on Western to Riddle School.
Rick, thank you, Kyle. Before we hit the record button, community the size of Mattoon, you always have lots going on in Public Works.
Yes, we do. This year is a banner year. It seems like there's been a lot of grant money. There's been a lot of activity at the state level, a lot of money available. So yes, and then the timing couldn't be better with the new sports complex and the inter-exchange and making all those road improvements. Dave Clark has, just been so helpful in a project like that.
It's been great doing this program for now. This is our 10th season, and I wrote down on here, it's, for many seasons talking with Kyle and even back to Mayor Gover, it was like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of Marshall Avenue, and now we've evolved to this portion for Mattoon. So it's great to see how Mattoon has evolved, especially through Public Works. All right, very good. Let's shift over to economic development, and we could probably spend all 12 minutes talking with you guys about the sports complex, the Emerald Acres Sports Connection. That is the correct title.
That's correct.
All right, I wanted to make sure I got it right.
Exactly right.
Okay, so just west of I-57, and I come to Mattoon all the time for church and leisurely things, and you see how it has progressed. I think the last time I talked about the sports complex here on City Spotlight was the fall of last year with Ed Dowd. To see the transformation, it continues to grow. Give us an update on the phases and what are you guys anticipating? What are the goals right now as far as completion?
So as you see, the first phase was the indoor sports facility. It is pretty much up. They're enclosing it. The strip mall, the retail part of it, the big strip mall is up. You're starting to see the facade come alive now with the structure. A couple other outbuildings out front that are being built. The Chick-fil-A's foundation's in. There's another little 4-unit strip mall that's constructed. So
Right.
Starting on the road work, big push. We're hoping to have some of those retails and the indoor facility open, say around the September 1st time period.
Okay, so we're taping here June 6th, so you're saying in about 3 months' time, a lot more transformation.
Right. I had an opportunity yesterday to go through the indoor facility, which, as you say, is in phase 1, roughly 130,000 square feet. When you get in the building, it's just enormous on the inside. It's going to be it's going to blow their socks off once they get it done. And we anticipate having our first activities in that building in November.
Really?
So we're going to have sporting events in that building during that time. Pretty soon they're going to be closing off the building altogether because they got to lay the floors. They got the concrete floors on one part, but all the wooden floors, that process takes about 3 or 4 months from beginning to end. So they'll be shutting down that area soon. But yeah, a lot of activity out there. The weather's so much better. But it's going to be just amazing for our community.
We're going to look back after taping all these tapings of the buildup, and then there will be the grand opening of the whole thing, because obviously it's opening up in phases. Each of you, what are you most excited about what this is going to do for Mattoon again? Just reemphasize your excitement for what this is going to do for Mattoon.
It's always been about economic growth. And yes, it's going to bring 600,000 people to our community every year when this all opens up. But really, it's an opportunity to grow our community, not only in population, housing opportunities, existing businesses getting more business, and new businesses even outside of the complex that are coming in. We've got new hotels around the complex, or we will have a new hotel for sure. We got restaurants, retail. It's people are going to be amazed, and it's growing so quickly right now. You can see it happen.
Kyle?
And just the positivity of all the growth and the changes. I have family that live out of town. Every time they came back to town, they see something different, and they're like, "Wow, this is really changing." So it's those comments and just the new growth and cleaning up, existing parts of town is just keeping everybody excited.
We're taping this program, presenting it to a wide viewing audience across Central Illinois, whether it be TV or social media, and someone that's not from Mattoon. Give us a little insight. Is there a steady buzz in the community about this?
I'm glad you said something about the other communities, because it's not just about Mattoon.
It's the regional component.
It's the regional component. Charleston, Shelbyville, Effingham, Arcola, Tuscola, a large area is going to benefit from this, and that's really exciting too. It's not just Mattoon; it's everybody.
I've probably repeated this comment many times on this program, but it's a comment that stands out to me. Current Mayor Jeff Johnson of Shelbyville, he's been on the program many times, and when I asked him about certain businesses coming to Shelbyville, he said, "Well, we want the business to come to our community, but if we don't get it, we want it to come to our area." And so that forward thinking, that not only does obviously impacts Mattoon tremendously, but it does benefit
Absolutely.
the area as a whole tremendously as well. You mentioned your new public works director and his background with IDOT. Another thing that when we showed the blueprints 18 months ago or whatever it was, what are those plans? What are those workings like as far as like the changing of that interchange area? Is that still kind of along those lines of 18 months ago?
Yes, so they're still doing the teardrop diamond interchange. We've been working with IDOT on and off. Every month or so we get updates.
Okay.
They are working on getting it out to bid. Well, hopefully it gets out to bid this fall,
Okay.
which then construction would start next construction season next spring, and
Oh, wow.
would go on for 3 construction seasons. So it is a long project.
It is a long project, but since we haven't talked, and that's the beauty of this program is you wait long enough to talk with people, that gap of when things from idea to completion has now shrunk. So we're getting closer to that transformation.
This is good news, bad news is we're going to get new roads and we're going to have a great entryway to Mattoon, but we're going to have to pay the price of actually doing the construction. There's going to be a lot of changes. People have to get used to that. They're going to have to be patient, but that's part of it.
For short-term pain for long-term gain.
Right, you could say that. And the short-term pain for the interstate project, it's 3 construction years. So it's going to be going on for 3 years.
Can I ask, just out of curiosity, as a person who likes to travel and drive, this won't completely close how people get on the interstate? They'll just have to find a creative way to get on? Is that basically what they're saying?
So yes, basically, that's one of our concerns, that we're trying to make sure that it's not shut down for any long periods of times. If it has to be shut down a week,
that is one of the main ways people access Mattoon.
Yeah.
Right.
It is the primary path into Mattoon, and we want to make sure that is very much minimized. And we really think that'll work out pretty well for us. But there will be some different routes. Local people will find different routes just because they know of activity level.
Absolutely. I certainly know which routes. They're popping in my head right now. Got just a couple of minutes left with Kyle and Rick, and a Mattoon tradition is coming up here in about a month's time, middle of July. The latest Bagel Fest is coming to happen in Mattoon. It looks like the dates are in that area of the 13th through 20th. I know the 13th is kind of like those pre-pageant stuff, but the majority 18th through 20th.
Correct.
For those, again, that are watching this program, maybe they've never heard of Bagel Fest. What does Bagel Fest mean to Mattoon?
So
you go.
It's just celebrating, Blender's Bagels, who have been here for many years now. Thomas Bagels in there as well. But we have a big bagel breakfast on Saturday the 20th.
And that's an obscene amount of bagels. I've done a feature on it.
Lots of bagels. We have music on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. Again, the pageants, I think Tuesday night. So we have a lot of activities that whole week. There's a parade.
Parade's pretty big too.
Rides for kids.
Yeah.
A lot of food.
Takes place at Peterson
Peterson
Park.
Park, right.
Large park there in Mattoon. Rick, it's a Mattoon tradition. Every community seems to have their
Big
event like this.
Big
And
event.
this is Mattoon's.
Yeah. We figured if we're gonna produce the most bagels of any city in the United States, we ought to have a bagel fest.
Yeah.
Over 1 million bagels a day are made out there at Bingo. So,
Each of you going to pick your brain real quick. This was not on the list of questions. It's just free flowing with the conversation. What's your favorite thing about Bagel Fest? Go Rick first.
I think just the people. Everybody you get to meet. When you're out there, there's so many things going on. The entertainment's always great. The food is terrible for you, but it tastes great. and
Bagels are probably not the healthiest thing for people.
But all the other food, it's not just the bagels when you go out there. But no, you just meet a lot of people, and everybody's having a good time, and that's really what it's all about.
Thank you.
And I'd say the same thing. Enjoying the concerts, the food vendors out there. It's always great, So, but the concert's fun. Watching people out there having a good time.
I'll leave the floor to you guys. One more lasting comment as we wrap up this segment with you gentlemen. One more thing that people need to know about Mattoon as we tape here in the middle of 2024.
Yeah, this is an exciting time for Mattoon. We got our downtown area finishing their renovations. We got things going on at the lake. We got the sports complex. There's just a lot of good things happening right here. And people, when we get through this process to get some of this stuff finished, this is going to be a good place to come.
Kyle?
Same thing, but we do have a gentleman that retired. Our park director retired last Friday. We had a lot of famous people in town, Hall of Famers over at Eastern.
Yeah.
I joked around with him and said, Kurt Stretch, who retired, is our Hall of Famer in Mattoon. He's done so much for the park departments and recreation throughout the city
Maintenance
of
of
Mattoon.
the ball diamonds.
Maintenance of the ball diamonds.
There's a few ball diamonds in Mattoon.
Yeah.
So,
And more coming.
More coming, okay. There you go. You heard it first. More ball diamonds coming to Mattoon. Rick Hall, Kyle Gill, gentlemen, always a pleasure to tape with you and talk about Mattoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And coming up next here on City Spotlight, we'll change locations, not go too far, and check out for the first time here on City Spotlight the Mattoon Public Library. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Mattoon. And we're back here on City Spotlight, this new Season 10 episode on Mattoon. We've changed locations, haven't traveled too far from City Hall, and we are taping for the first time in this segment at the Mattoon Public Library. And to help us out, the gentleman to my right, first time on City Spotlight, the director of the Mattoon Public Library, Carl Walworth. Carl, pleasure to have you on.
Great to be with you.
Good morning, and glad to be taping here with Carl on June 6th. We're taping here in the middle of 2024 here in Mattoon. And Carl, great to have you on. We look forward to learning about the Mattoon Public Library. We've taped many public libraries on this program. This is our second public library taping here in Season 10, and we look forward to learning about it. But let's first learn about you. You're a first-time guest. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm from Newton, Jasper County.
All right.
I know you've been there. I spent 30 plus years in the newspaper business. I was a reporter, I was an editor, I was a publisher at the Journal-Gazette Times-Courier, worked in sports news, really did a little bit of everything. Took some time off, did some writing, wrote a book, and I've been at the library for, this started my 8th year.
So various different forms of media. Obviously, this is the media right here. This is a visual media and TV. What got you transitioning over to the world of library?
Well, I was looking, I had made a decision to make a switch in my career. I was looking for something where that would have some impact, or it's important to me to do what I consider meaningful work. This position was open, and I asked them if they would consider somebody with a community background, and the board here opted to do that. And at least from my standpoint, it's been a very good situation.
Carl and I were talking before we hit the record button about various things and EIU sports things that he had covered back in the day. How did your previous skill set in the world of print and that workflow, how did that help you for this current position you have?
Well, we see a lot of different folks come through here. Really, almost every walk of life comes through the library. And in the newspaper world, we've dealt with every walk of life. And the library is very community oriented, and the newspaper world was very community oriented. And so in that way, it was similar. In the newspaper world, there was a transition from print to digital. And you can see we still have 50,000 plus titles here in our library, but the library world also is making transitions from print to digital, so things don't stay the same. There are changes, and keeping up with changes. All of that is very similar.
Very excited to hear that from you. Heard similar comments from other library directors in our central Illinois area. Carl, thank you for the introduction of yourself and why you're here. And let's talk about this facility, the Mattoon Public Library, located here in downtown Mattoon. And let's start things off with, tell us a little history about the building.
Well, the library has always been, it started in 1893 at a different location. It's been at this location since 1902, 1903. The original is a Carnegie library, and downstairs there's a architectural rendering that shows the original. And so the woodwork on that first floor is 1902, 1903 Carnegie Library. The board and the trustees opted in 1994-95 to do an addition and a remodel that I think more than doubled the space. It also added the elevator that you brought your equipment up on.
They're very thankful for that.
And so that was in 1994-95. And so the area we are in is the new part, and just across just a few steps away would be some of the original building. And then we've made some improvements to those. It's 26,000 square feet, 4 different floors, 5 if you count the foyer where you come in. So this area here that's you mentioned is bright.
Colorful.
Colorful. We had repainted just a few years ago. We've added some technology in the last few years. And in the first floor, there's a reading area that was remodeled, and there's a very cool, I can show you, there's a very cool, Rich Record was a great reader and a well-known lawyer, and his whole reading list since 1963 is down there.
Wow.
And it's in a bound copy. So there are some cool things that have happened since then, but the significant building part of it was in 1994.
The floor we're taping on here, let's point this out. We're in the second floor, and this appears to be for the youth.
This is the teen lounge, which we added some furniture and made it kind of a teen area. There's a gamer spot. There's a gamer facility right here.
Nice.
We added that 3-4 years ago. There's a program room that's got some cool technology in it. We do a lot of teaching. We have a family literacy program. We host a YMCA day campers in the summer. We do one-on-one tutoring and various other programs in our program room. And then across the aisle here is the children's area. There's a cool stage where we do story time. We've done some adult programming up here, but primarily children's, and so we marry the books with the interactive programming,
Right.
and then you fold into that the digital digital component.
You have to, because as you said, the times do change, and that digital component that I've heard from other library directors, you have to embrace it into your world of not just books.
This is not the quietest area. A lot of people think of libraries as quiet.
A teen section, not quiet?
A lot of people think of libraries as quiet, and we've made it quiet here this morning, but this floor typically is not very quiet. But we do have some quiet spaces if somebody wants to come and study or do something. And there's a little conference room just around the corner, and there's a community center downstairs that has a nice conference room and community room. And so we do have places where you can study if that's what you want to do.
You've kind of blended your comments into my next set of questions, which are about the program. So I think we've gotten a nice overview of the facility and already some of the programs. So let's backtrack maybe a little bit and continue talking about the youth. I know just about every library, I don't know if it's a prerequisite, but you have some kind of story time for the children.
Story time is on, right now it's Fridays. In the fall, it's usually Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m.
Okay.
As I mentioned, we have a family literacy program it's designed to raise the literacy level for adults and children who read or do mathematics at below the 8th grade level. We have it's a separate team that comes in and does that. They also do homework help on Thursday afternoons.
Nice.
I mean, there's a lot of we've done this Friday. We have Aikman Wildlife coming in.
Nice.
We have Douglas Hart do programs. We produce some of our own programs, and so this floor is very active throughout the year. The summer is the peak time, but it's certainly not the only time.
Is there one particular program that you offer to the youth in the summertime that you would say stands out?
Well, I mean, our summer read program rolls through the summer, and we when they hit certain marks, they get pizza or ice cream cones.
That's pretty good motivation.
The kind of thing. But Denise Porter, who's right over here, I mean, she interacts with families every day, and there's a lot of people come up here. Several people come up and just hang out here.
Right.
So this is a place that's a people magnet, is what I think our building is.
Nice.
And people come in, and some people use it for what you would consider the traditional library. We also have some interactive trains. We have puzzles. We have things that engage young adults, and so all of those things happen up here.
And I've also noticed one of the things that's like you have a chess club or something one time.
We do chess twice a month.
How is the turnout for that? I'm not that I play chess, but it's like I haven't seen that amongst other libraries in our area.
Well, it varies. I mean, it varies. Sometimes you'll have 8 or 10. Sometimes you'll have 4 or 5. But it's really for all ages. You don't have to know how to play chess. It's on Saturday mornings.
Yes.
And some people come regularly, some come here and there, but it's a great program. Kathy Lee runs that, and it's it's a niche, and the people that utilize it really appreciate it.
Any programs for the adults? Let's switch from the youth of the community of Mattoon to the adults. Any particular things that stand out as far as that you provide for the older, the adults? We
have 2 or 3 regular book clubs, book discussions, some on history, some on fiction. We do a variety of adult programming. We had just in the last few months, we had a Holocaust survivor that spoke. We had like 100 people for that. We had an instructor from Lakeland talked about the eclipse. And then we had a woman who does women in history programs. She came and did an Agatha Christie program. Coming up this month, we have a program on AI. We have one on how to evaluate news. We've had musicians come in. Okay. Really, I think a really good variety of programs, and our adult programs do very well.
The role of the library in Mattoon, you use the term, it's a magnet, and you have people that come in and provide, their experiences and whatnot. So my final question for you is, what is its role in the community of Mattoon?
Well, we're a centerpiece. I mean, we're anchored here in the middle of town. We have this beautiful architecturally significant building. We do traditional library services, but we do a lot more than that. We haven't even talked about the local history center, which is it's a whole floor. It's 6 rooms. People come all the time. We also take our programs on the road. The History Center, by way of example, does a historical bike ride every summer. The next one's on June the 22nd. This is our 4th year. We usually have 40 or 50 people on a Saturday morning. They've done walks. Chris Serdick, who's a volunteer curator of that area, goes and speaks to various organizations. And so, to me, we're in the service business, and people use us for different purposes. And I know it's impactful to be able to serve all the various entities that use this facility.
And I know that local history center you could have talked the entire 12-minute interview about, and we'll definitely catch up and learn more about that the next time we have you on.
No question, it's fantastic. I mean, it's a real gem. It gets praise everywhere. Everybody that comes in there is like, I had no idea.
Carl Walworth, director of the Mattoon Public Library. Pleasure to have Carl on for the first time here on City Spotlight. Great taping in another one of our local libraries here in Mattoon. Thank you, Carl, for being on.
Great to be with you.
And that'll do it for our latest City Spotlight episode in Mattoon. We've been on location. Thanks for watching. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.